Former President Donald Trump made his return to X last night during a highly promoted conversation between him and billionaire Elon Musk. Following some technical difficulties, though, Trump largely focused on familiar falsehoods and personal attacks, fielding friendly questions on a variety of topics, including immigration, the economy, his political opponents, and he bragged about his relationships with the leaders of U.S. adversaries.
Elon, I know every one of them, and I know them well. I know Putin,
Yeah.
I know President Xi, I know Kim Jong-un of North Korea. I know every one of them.
Trump's Twitter account, you may recall, was suspended shortly after the January 6th riots at the Capitol. But Musk reinstated it last year when he took over the platform. Well, in response to the live stream, the Harris campaign said in a statement that Trump's entire campaign is in service of people like Elon Musk and himself, self-obsessed rich guys who will sell out the middle class and who cannot run a live stream in the year 2024. All right, so we have team coverage on all the latest news on the campaigns. Let's first go to our Olivia Rinaldi with more on the Trump campaign. All right, so Olivia, let's talk a little bit about this. What was the purpose of this? We call it an interview earlier. It was more like a conversation, and they were kind of talking to each other, sometimes past each other. What was the purpose of it? How did it go?
Well, Anne-Marie, it was billed as a conversation. Elon Musk, when talking about this interview that he was going to do, said he wanted it to be an open conversation for, open, like-minded individuals and for independent voters to really get to know Donald Trump in a conversation setting rather than in adversarial interviews. That's some of the friendliness to explain there. But part of this is all this effort with Trump and his growing relationship with Elon Musk. He talks about him very fondly. He talks about their relationship growing over the last year, specifically how Elon Musk works with electric vehicles. When Trump talks about EV mandates, saying that, even though he might not like those, he does like Elon Musk, who's, of course, the head of Tesla. So a budding relationship there, but to some of the technical difficulties that kept Donald Trump off of the Twitter Spaces, X Spaces last night. It took about 40 minutes for them to really get this interview going. Elon Musk at one point blamed it on a software hacking attack that could be going on, specifically targeting them. But then once the conversation began, it was about 2 hours of things we have heard before. If you've been to a Trump rally, a lot of this you've heard before. Trump praising his relationship with authoritarian leaders, claiming other countries were sending people from prisons and jails to America. This is all similar things we have heard in the past, nothing exactly new there, but an interesting growing relationship between the two. And Elon Musk also left the door open to having Vice President Kamala Harris come on X Spaces at any moment.
Okay. I would like to point out that Donald Trump rarely sits down in front of adversarial members of the media. Perhaps most recently at NABJ was maybe the first time I've seen it in a long time. Usually he's with friendly journalists. That being said, I want to ask you about some new ads from a Trump-aligned super PAC, MAGA Inc. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, that is the major super PAC supporting Donald Trump's campaign. It's run by people who were formerly in his administration, but also part of his former campaigns. There's a new ad buy they have out. It's about $100 million they're planning to spend between now and Labor Day. That is in addition to a $70 million ad buy they had earlier in the summer. So almost $200 million that they're spending in total on advertisements. And these are now going to be attacking Vice President Kamala Harris on immigration, on the economy, as her record as a DA and a prosecutor in San Francisco. So all interesting is they're honing these attacks against her, and they're all playing in the battleground states that we all know very well: Nevada, North Carolina, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. This is all as we're starting to turn out of the summer and towards November. We got about 84 days to go, so a lot will be developing.
Definitely. And I want to give Donald Trump some credit. He also did do that press conference recently where he took questions from the media. So, Olivia, thank you very much.